So my name's David Hall. I'm the Managing Director of Cloudy IT, and we're a managed service provider that specialises in local government. And we're joined by our Head of Local Government Services, Steve Walker, who sort of heads up the decisions strategy as well as all our app development as well. So, Steve, do you want to say hello?
Yes, thank you, David. Good morning, all. Yes, I'm not only the Director of Local Government Services at Cloudy IT. As you can see from the slide, I'm also a local councillor and chair of my local councillor. And really glad you've all joined us today. It's going to be a really useful and productive hour.
Thanks, Steve. And we're also joined by Mia as well, who's from Decisions, and we work very closely with Mia and her colleague Joanne. But Mia, do you want to introduce yourself and Joanne as well, or you guys can do it individually?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Mia Legner. I'm a digital meeting specialist in Decisions, and I'm also responsible for all our partnerships that we have, like with Cloudy. So we're working very closely together and excited about this session. Both Johan and I are based in Oslo, Norway, where our headquarters are.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mia. And yeah, Johan.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Johan, working as a customer success manager for Decisions, and also working very closely with Dave and Steve, and of course Mia.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much. So what's this session all about, and what is Decisions? Obviously people have joined here today to find out a bit more about the product, which is really exciting. And one of the things we do here at Cloudy is we're looking to find great partners, great products and services for our councils, for our clerks, our officers, our councillors, to be more effective with technology. And Decisions is a really special product that's part of that suite. It's really important with Decisions that we get you on. You have to be on Microsoft 365. That's one of the key requirements. And you have to be using SharePoint, and it does help if you're using things like Planner and Teams. Absolutely, not a necessity, but it does help. But Decisions is a great product for clerks, officers, and councillors to run really effective meetings. And we know, obviously that's a really important part of what our clerk and our council's role is, all about running meetings effectively. And what we're always doing here at Cloudy is trying to do more with less, trying to be as productive as possible. And Decisions, we've always thought was a wonderful product, and we're working very closely with them this year to make it even more better for the sector, which is using all of our expertise just to make it a great product. And we've got some wonderful conversations going on with other organisations that are connected to the sector about Decisions being used. I'm not going to say anything yet, but maybe in the future we'll announce those. And we have got an announcement to make today. But the point of these sessions are that we're going to run them regularly, monthly, and there'll be a place for clerks and officers and councillors to come in and jump in and maybe talk about their experience of Decisions and share best practice and knowledge with each other. Really important that we try and, if someone's having a bit of success in their council, share it with another council to provide feedback to Decisions as well on the product. We are really receptive. Decisions are really receptive to it, and anything we can do to improve it for clerks and councils, we're really keen to explore. And we've got an announcement to make. I don't know who wants to make that announcement. Maybe we'll do it at the end. Yeah, keep everyone on their fingertips about the product, which is really cool. And just as all of us to share best practice. So today we're going to be just doing a quick walkthrough of Decisions. We were trying to get one of our clerks who are using Decisions to come in today, but we just had a clash of diaries. We could not get anyone in. It was really frustrating. But we'll certainly have someone in our next session in about a month's time who's been using Decisions to come and talk to you about their experience. So the session today will cover basically how to use Decisions from end to end, building an agenda, creating, or adding all the additional supporting papers to share that. We're looking at things like engagement scores, stuff like that, how the councillors open that agenda, how you produce your minutes and how it interacts with Planner. We're going to try and keep this quite high level as well. We don't want to go too deep into the product. We could always do that on a separate session if that's something that people would like. But today it's about high level features and just trying to find things that would be really useful for you. So I think that's it for now. Steve's going to do a bit of talking now, and we'll basically talk through our presentation. And then once Steve's presented some high level features around Decisions, Johan will go through and actually show you those features with myself. I'll be acting as a counsellor with the mobile app and showing you how that works. And we'll then go to putting together some of the special offers that we've put together in partnership with Decisions for the sector. These are very good deals, different to corporate, different to charity pricing, that we believe really is a very attractive offer for councils. So I will control the slide deck, I suppose, Steve. So you'll just give me a wave or a nod, or I'll try and anticipate when to change it. So we'll see how we get on. So over to you, Steve.
Right, thank you, David. Yeah, so like I say, good morning, everybody. So Decisions, let's focus on what it does. It makes agenda and meeting management and the creation of minutes simpler for clerks. The standard process is the clerk assembles the agenda to a specific meeting, whether it is for council, maybe planning, maybe finance, or a working group, or maybe a task to finish team. Meetings need agendas to stay focused. They need agendas to stay, sort of on track. And that's one of the great things about Decisions, is the structure that this application brings to your meeting creation, that the meeting management is wonderful. When Johan does a demonstration later on, you'll see how simple it is to build out your agenda, include a lot of the statutory items from templates, and record. Although we lack the ability in the United Kingdom, in England, to vote electronically, you can record those decisions and you can record those votes electronically by the clerk. So you have a show of hands in the meeting, the clerk can record those down in this as well, which again makes the creation of the minutes much easier. Preparation from the meeting is really easy. Everybody can send in the documents to the clerk. The clerk then can assemble the meeting pack or the agenda pack, depending on which terminology you're using. That contains all of the supporting documentation in one location. And as David said earlier on, you've got SharePoint as part of 365, you've got Planner, you've got To Do. There's a lot of Word, of course, and OneNote are all part of your 365 package that you're paying for. Decisions makes great use of these really powerful programs. So everything's received and is stored in SharePoint and brought then into the agenda with very simple either links you click to go and look at the documentation, or it's included in the documentation. So once you receive that agenda pack, that meeting book, all of the attached documents are in one place, tagged to the agenda item. So no more receiving 5 reports from different people and you're not really sure which agenda item the report sort of relates to, or do 2 relate to 1, or do they all relate to 1? This makes it much simpler to manage your meeting. And I know for councillors, myself being one, if you get a large agenda and there's a lot of supporting paperwork, sometimes it's really easy to get sort of lost in all of the, all of those documents. This puts that to bed. It's really good. Once we get into the meeting, again, simple. Everybody has the access to either the agenda via Teams or the mobile app, and that's one of the things we want to show you later on. It makes it so easy then for councillors to keep track of where they are. You can take minutes in real time in OneNote or Microsoft Word. Now, the councillor I'm on, my client uses Word. She's very familiar with it. She takes all of the minutes inside Word, but you might want to do it in Note and then write it up in Microsoft Word later. Again, you've got those choices in the meeting. So as you're actually running through each agenda item, everything's formatted nicely for you. It's all in the correct place. One of the other advantages, of course, tasks. Everyone has action points, don't they? You think, oh, we're going to go off and do this. This allows you. Now, there are some councils that make great use of Planner. It's a fantastic tool. It's really easy. It's not as heavy as Project with Gantt charts everywhere. It's much easier to use. So if you're doing a very quick, preparing for an event or something, Planner's really good at getting everything in the right place. And that's one of the nice things with Decisions. You might have an agenda item where there are several actions that you need some people to do. You can put those straight into Planner from, and this is really good, from the agenda. So they go straight into Planner, they're assigned to people. So you may have several officers or team members or even councillors that are doing work. you can assign them the tasks, and this is the bit that's really good. The next month, the clerk is able to pull those task progresses into the next agenda to make items. So you might have a task to go and look at a broken seat, and then that task has some details about what's wrong with the seat. We need to replace the seat. We need to buy a seat. The clerk can pull that task item from Planner into the agenda so that you can decide whether you want to go and buy a seat or repair a seat. You can make that agenda item, and there's a history, an audit trail to it. So it's really, really good. So that joins everything up end to end. Give me slide nod. So yeah, as we were saying, building the agenda. Here's an example one that we've got. It's got some typical agenda items on it. They've been assigned to people. You can see it all on one screen in front of you. You can see all of the up and coming meetings. If we see there sort of in the middle channel, they are all there. On the right then, we've got the agenda summary. So we can see who's speaking, or who's responsible for that item, what's going on. Along the top there, you can see view agenda, suggest topic, my notes, request topics. So what you can do there, suggest topic, if you've got access to that, a councillor might wish for something to go into the agenda. They can use the suggest topic in the mobile app or in the Teams app to send that to the clerk, the person responsible for building the agenda. That can go and be like, oh yeah, actually, yes, I do want to include that. It's then a couple of clicks for the clerk to add that in, including any supporting documentation, any evidence. That can all be done in the same way. The same with the request topic. So you may be not necessarily running a full council meeting, you might be running a task to finish group or an event group, and you've got a new meeting coming up and there are several different presenters and they may wish to chat about something. You can request topics from them for inclusion in the agenda, so you don't have you basically are asking, what do we need to talk about, which again simplifies your workload. You can send that off, they come back, they are then built into that agenda, and that's all done in one easy to use interface. I see I've got a couple of hands up there from Sally, so I'll pause for a second. I think you might need to unmute yourself, Sally, but yes, Sally.
I was just going to ask, with the request topics, can you set any deadlines in there? Because I like to, give my councillors a deadline to send their responses in by, so that I don't get a request a day I'm going to send the agenda out to try and squeeze in their topic of discussion. Can I set top deadlines in there or not?
Right, I'm gonna pass that to Johan. Johan's going to answer this question.
Yeah, I was kind of prepared for that pass. So yes, it is absolutely possible. The thing is, with the pack we are now announcing, that is not included, but we have something called case submission, what we use in very more important meetings or meetings with heavier structures, as you say. So yes, there is a function, a premium feature called case submission that takes that to another level as you would like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Johan. So, yes, Sarah, effectively we can add some weight onto that, giving you the, yes, councillors, I don't want them on the morning of the meeting. I want them sort of while I'm sort of preparing the agenda, please, would be lovely. So here we have a management team meeting. So this is, again, just a very, very quick example. We've got a review of action items and who's doing this. And then we've got a report after that. So that's the type of screen you would get pre-meeting, that the clerk or whom is putting the meeting together. We can see there's 26 tasks, there's some decisions on there, and on the right hand side we've got team engagement. So how am I engaging with my councillors? So I've built my agenda now, what do I do? And it's got some tips there. Not all are applicable in every case, but sometimes it's useful to think, oh, actually that's quite a good idea, I'll do this. And then of course agenda quality. again, it helps you ensure that you haven't missed anything off, like assigning each agenda item to the person responsible. We all know in council meetings the chair probably runs through the meeting, but there are individual councillors that probably have that maybe as a portfolio, and they will be giving the update on that. Assigning it to them makes it a lot easier to sort of follow the meeting through, and the agenda quality helps you with that. And now councillor access to the agenda pack via the mobile app. So this app is available for Android and iOS at the moment. You can go and download it from the store, and then you log in. All of the meetings that you have access to are on here, and as we can see, you've got up and coming meetings. You've then got the agenda for the meeting, so you can click and go straight into it and have a look. All of the material, this is one of the important things, this is the one we hear the most from councils, is we keep losing track of, all the documents. Someone's published it here, or they've saved it here, or received it in an email. This makes it easier to put all of it in one place for that one meeting, and it's everybody can access it then, whether you're using the browser in Teams or the mobile app. And then, of course, again, less applicable for English councils at the moment, but obviously that elsewhere in England you can vote electronically, and of course you could do it in a meeting, a working group. You've got options there to do some voting. So again, a show of hands can be recorded electronically in this, but there are ways, let's hope for the future, that this can be done electronically. So for now, we're going to hand over it, and we're going to do a bit of a demonstration at this point. So, those that are with us can just see how nicely Decisions works. David.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Steve. And yeah, Joanne is going to sort of just walk end to end, really showing some high level features. And I'll do the app piece as well. I'll share the app on my screen. But yeah, just give me a prompt when it's ready. But over to you, Johan. Cheers.
Thank you. Okay, so anyways, you have invited to your meetings from before using Decisions. It's the way you keep inviting to meetings. Like in this case, I've been invited to the Decisions Hour by Ryan and so on. I had this meeting earlier. Am I showing my screen, by the way? Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Yes.
I had this meeting early on today, where I can, so this is a regular invite to any meeting. Yeah. What I do have is the Outlook app, the meeting secretary, where I can add things into this actual invite. So like this, for example, then I can publish the entire agenda also in the invite, so you'll get it on your email, and you'll have your show agenda. Now, sorry, this is in Norwegian, but I will show you in English afterwards. Show agenda, you can see the meeting book and so on. So the participants will always be prepared by email, by Teams, or anything. So this is the same example from Teams, from my calendar. I love working through Teams, so I always invite through Teams, which is the same way of doing it. So Teams also have a decisions icon over here, which right now mirrors all your upcoming and earlier meetings. So for this one, I already have an agenda, so we can see a preview of this agenda. And if I show you this agenda, again, it takes some time for me to change languages between. So I just had a Norwegian demo, but I hope you'll bear with me on that. So this is the agenda that we actually created from a template. Agenda templates means that you can create a good agenda and you can reuse it for next meeting. So you can have as many templates as you would like to. I really like this function as well. I would presume, I'm not that familiar with English councils, but I would presume that sometimes you will have a guest presenter presenting something. So let's say guest presenter. And I'll add, for example, me. I'm not part of any council, right? But I would like to present something, a case. This means if I'm not invited to the entire council meeting, I will only be invited to these 10 minutes in my calendar, which means that you don't have to invite them for the entire meeting. I think that's a really neat feature. So again, very easy to create tasks from here, from the agenda, or create decisions. Decisions from here. What will you be talking about the language pack, David? Should I spoil?
Well,
the,
no, you mention it, please do, because
okay.
because you've been the spearheading it, so please do mention it. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what we also have kind of a surprise we built just a few last days, where we actually built in the council meeting languages. I mean, we didn't know that language before we started with it, but we built that language into decisions. So that means, Steve, you're better on me than the languages, but a decision would be a resolution. So a resolution, for example.
A resolution, yes.
So everything called decisions in our product will at yours be called resolution, or tasks would be then
actions,
yeah, and so on and so on. So we are quite we can do a lot of adjustments to make this fit you. So I'm pretty proud of that, and we'll probably have something to show next week about that. But then let's look at the minutes. I think this is really cool because right now we have in Word a meeting documents manager, which then when you're done writing your minutes in the agenda or in notes, let's do Ryan is not here. And merge, you'll see that I already have my finished minutes. I could, of course, keep writing minutes from here, etc. And a very nice feature also, as he mentioned, is that you can write decision : new decision. And then if you write action : and then at, for example, Johan, and the due date for the action, like this. Decisions would then pick up that you're trying to create tasks or decisions. So in just a few seconds, this one will turn orange, like that. And decision now understands that you try to create new actions and new tasks. And I can just save them like this. And if I then go to my Teams and my English demo meeting team and look at my decisions made, you'll see that the decision is already in your decisions bank. And I can easily go back through this link to the exact agenda item where this decision were made. And then if you would have any documents or attachments attached to this one, you will easily find it by just going through your decisions. So yeah, I think that's it. There's a lot more things, of course, but I think I'll hand it over to Dave to look at the app.
Yeah, do you mind just showing people how to build the agenda quickly with the supporting page? Because I think that's quite an important one before the meeting. If you could show that one very briefly. I don't have 15 minutes to fill with my apps. So yeah, that'd be good. Cheers.
Yeah, I was trying to, I'm a big fan of those cooking TV when they bake cakes and they already have pre-made cakes out of the oven. So I was more on that. Build agenda. So let's just create a new meeting like this. I can actually do it like this as well, a repeating meeting. And I'm terribly sorry for having it in Norwegian. It's been one of those days.
Everyone's brushing up on their Norwegian now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's fun. We've learned some new words.
So I'll just find this meeting that I just created, build agenda, and this also is a recurring meeting. Then I can actually do a recurring agenda on this meeting as well, which I think is amazing. like this. So this is for building the first agenda, like welcome and so on. Sorry, welcome. So I have a couple of choices in the agenda items. I have time. How much time do I need for this one? Maybe perhaps not 10 minutes, but 5 minutes. And I have the title. I have the description of the agenda item. This is a drag and drop files. Very easy to drag and drop files. Let's do this one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a standing agenda. Yeah. And I have something called tags, where I can extend the search engine for decisions and type. So let's have discussion. And who is responsible for this particular agenda item? Well, it's me. So this is how you build agenda items. But as I said, I'm a big fan of cooking TV, so I'll just pick one of my pre-made agendas and have this agenda then built in seconds. So you don't have to do it every week. Then, because I had a standing agenda over time and I had a meeting series, this agenda is now published in every meeting in the future. Like this. And it's super easy for me to jump between my future meetings. And I can, for example, in May, create a new agenda item. Or should we actually, you mentioned, Steve, about the meeting planner as well, I think.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. Let's say that you will not have time to do this agenda item this week. You'll have to push it to next week. Then you can export this one. Sorry, I have to do this. Let's do this one. Yeah. Let's see that I can't have this one. Then I can export this one to our meeting planner and a backlog. Like that. And it disappears from here. But for my next meeting, I would like to get it back. Then I can do import from meeting planner and then look at my backlog. I have 7 items in my backlog, so I can then take this one, and this one back. And now I suddenly have easily 3 more items from the backlog. It's a very, very neat feature.
That's a huge time-saving feature there, and I think a lot of clerks will be appreciative of, meetings often overrun. We like to stick to 2 hours. If a couple of items have run on, they tend to be then deferred to another meeting. This would allow any clerks that are there to quickly put them into the backlog box, shall we say, and then pull them out at the next meeting without having to do anything. And they maintain all the supporting document and everything, don't they, Johan? So it's ready to go back in.
They absolutely do, yeah. And at the same time, I think this feature is amazing as well. If I now post the and notify my team members about this meeting, and I'll go back to this meeting and the post, it's in here. So I've posted the agenda, and I can from here propose new agenda items, which would then look like this. Well, this will be sent to Ryan though, so I wouldn't be able to show you, but because he created the meeting. But I can propose agenda items, and they would then be sent to the one responsible for the meeting, and they can easily accept, decline, or move to meeting planner for another meeting. So it's a very, very collaborative tool to build agendas and work together around.
But brilliant, thank you, Jan, ever so much. I think there was a question there, Steve. I don't know if you want to go back to Mandy on. And then one final thing, could you just build the meeting book, if that's okay, and show them how it connects it all together? Because I know that's to create a single PDF which could go on your website. Yeah, that would be really good, because it's a couple of clicks, and I know it can be quite a painful experience for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I will do as well is as you know, I don't know if you noticed, but I actually created a tiny change in this basic agenda. So I had Cloudy Council, and this is I come from a county in Sweden called Jämtland, and it's their their logo. But let's do that. So, and what I will show you as well is in another meeting, because we can adapt our templates, our meeting book templates and minutes templates extremely much to your needs. So what I will do is I will actually create an entire new meeting once more. Templates like that, and I will go to that meeting. This is good. Now I've all the afternoon been full of pretend meetings, so that's good. There we go, and templates. And let's create this agenda and put it in my Norwegian demo team, because this is just great. So we're back. We have our finished agenda like this. And then I can create from here something called the meeting book. Well, I should actually attach some attachments, shouldn't I? Well, perhaps not. It's okay. The attachments would then be here as well, and they would be published attachments. Yeah, so not only links or names, they would be published in this. So this is how I create the meeting book. And this is something that you could absolutely send beforehand out to your meeting participants, like a PDF. And then they would then have this format of your invite to the meeting as well. So it would then look something like this, with the title and so on, and the agenda items built like this. This is a pretty empty agenda, but I hope you see the use of it.
Yeah, brilliant, Johan. Well, thanks ever so much for sharing that. That's one of the what we believe is a real time saver for anyone building the agenda, to be able to take all those supporting papers and press a couple of clicks, turn it into a PDF. You could, before you turn it into a PDF, run the Microsoft compatibility tool on it, or if you really want to go belt and braces, go straight for the Adobe one as well, which will get that W tag compliancy as well. Great, Johan. Well, thanks ever so much, Steve. I see there's a couple of questions in the chat.
I'm working my way through those.
What do you want to do? Do you want to just answer them, or should we save them to the end, or what do you want to do?
I think probably if everybody's happy, we'll address them directly in case we need to put anything on the screen. I was just putting in the chat. Shirley had asked about importing, so I put the import items in there, and of course Excel imports nicely into Planner. Then you can create your task structure in Planner, then import them in as agenda items. And Mandy's mentioned, Johan mentioned about moving an item that there is not time to discuss in a future meeting, but it looks like it disappears off the meeting agenda. So yeah, so effectively, Johan, that item that was on the agenda comes off if you move it to another one, which of course.
I'm not really sure about that, because that's a choice you make.
Can you leave it on the original one and move it?
Let's do this. It's a great question, because this happens actually a lot of times. So this one, the meeting, let's see the confidential item. Let's say that we didn't have time to do this one. Then I would move to meeting planner, and from here I can actually copy. So let's say that I now would do this. So like that, for example. Yeah. Then I would choose this agenda item. I would move it to our meeting planner, and I would copy.
Got it.
Yep, and done. You still have the agenda item in here, but you still have the possibility to import it to the next agenda.
That's what I was going to say. Mandy's just typing in the chat now, so I think that's going to answer Mandy's question perfectly. I think that's really, really good. The other one, Sally's asked, can you create tabs on the agenda so councillors can jump to an item they want to view? There's a couple of ways of navigating the agenda, isn't there, so that you can jump to areas that you are responsible for. rather than a tab. Like you can highlight the agenda section, can't you, where you are the presenter or the speaker?
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's. Yeah, we actually haven't shown you the in-meeting experience either, but I wouldn't be able to since it's not my meeting. Yeah.
No, Sally, there is in a meet, as Johan's just said, in a meeting, yes, you can jump to the bit where you are. The in-meeting experience is very different. It's very, very good, and it sort of follows where you're going, especially if you have the mobile app or you're running it in Teams. It works really, really well. I think we could probably show that in another session.
Yeah.
What we will create one of these and maybe have Johan create the agenda for it, and then what we will do is demonstrate that, and then you can see how it would look in a real meeting. I think that would be good for the clerks to see at a future hour.
Yeah, but did I misunderstand? Or this button up here is actually rearranging the agenda if you want to.
Yeah,
So
no, that's fine. No, I think Sally, that's okay, isn't it? If we do another meeting and we'll show the in-meeting experience, it's clearer when you see it working.
And
well, maybe we can download the app and join your meeting, and we can have a look at as a councillor perspective how it works. Because that would be helpful.
I suppose that leads nicely into the bit I'm going to show, which is the councillor experience, which is only part of it, because there's two ways a councillor can access the agenda. It can be through the app or, through their laptop or computer as well. And this is what we love about Decisions, the integration. It's just like, it's so flexible, it can suit kind of any way of working, which is really good. So I'm going to try and share my screen on my mobile phone. So bear with me as I do this. Go share screen. Right, there we go. So there is my phone. If I go to Decisions, here we go. So this is the mobile app for Decisions, and what a council would predominantly use. And you can see here, you can go to your past meetings, and you can see your up and coming meetings as well. And if I go to a past meeting here and go to, I don't know, the one last night, the full council meeting, you can see here all the different points, and you can open up a section here. You can look at your personal notes, any votes. There's a couple there as well. That voting's closed. You can see here if there's attachments as well. You can see here a policy document there. Equally, I can actually go into the meeting book or agenda pack and go to open here, and I can have my own annotated copy with my own notes on, which is really nice. So I can browse down here, and if I wanted to sort of squiggle on a bit and write a couple of notes, I can do it in interesting. Save. So yeah, it's really nice, just really simple, really straightforward for a councillor to use, which is what we like about it. And obviously works on Android, iOS, and a tablet as well. So really useful, very flexible. And, when we are looking at council devices, tablets are cheaper than laptops. And if you were to get a tablet that would allow them to do all of this, and, they can still use the Microsoft suite of apps for Word, Excel, writing documents and stuff. You've got a lower cost price point as well, but I think just as effective as well, which is really interesting. So that is it really. I don't know if anyone else has got any more questions on the councillor interface at all, but otherwise I'll close my screen off and we'll carry on with the presentation.
No, I can't see anything. I think Julie's just typing, but I can't see anything else at the moment, David. Johan did mention one really, really interesting point, and we've helped a couple of councils out with this. We were asked. They've got an agenda numbering system, and they were tracking the agenda numbers in an Excel spreadsheet. Perfectly reasonable thing to do, and they've got all of the meetings and all of the agenda numbers in this spreadsheet. So what we showed them when moving to Decisions was Johan showed them how the numbering system could be continued in Decisions where it left off from its place in this Excel spreadsheet. This is what Johan's put up on the screen. So you can have your custom numbering, and you can do the catch up, so that if you're at agenda M1, 2, 3, 4, and your next meeting is going to be in M1, 2, 3, 5, Decisions can pick up the 1, 2, 3, 5 and start from there. So as we can see on the numbering, we can override that there and straight away. The numbering has been put as Johan's kindly put on the screen, so you wouldn't lose track of where you were, you wouldn't become out of sequence. And again, the format is customizable at time of deployment to you. So if you say our finance planning and full council agendas have got to these points, we can carry that on in decisions seamlessly for you.
Brilliant, Steve. So a question there from Julie, Steve, regarding the councillor app and broadcast. Now, from my perspective, what you can do is decisions integrate into Teams. So what you just saw there would actually be included in Teams. You can see visually in the same window. We'll show that next month. Alternative, if you just wanted a sneak peek of it, just connect and we could show you how that looks. And it does some really cool things as well. Like if you've got speaker lists, it will count down how long you got left. It'll put a reminder up on the screen. It will tell you when to stop, all that sort of stuff as well. I don't know, Steve, got anything to add to that? But I see you got a question there. So please do
Julie's
ask.
got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's just sort of a follow-up really, because what we do at the moment is the chairman projects all the papers from his laptop onto the screen for everyone to see, so that I can minute and people aren't seeing what I'm minuting. But the councillors have now all gone to iPads, and I think the idea was that I would beam the papers up onto the screen, but we don't want people to see what I'm minuting at the same time, because that'd be quite distracting. And I'm just wondering how that process, me taking minutes and beaming onto the screen from the decisions app, how that can all sort of hang together.
There's a couple of options we could walk you through there. You could set it up so that rather than cloning your screen, it's a dual screen. So what you've got on your screen isn't viewable for what's on the projector. Equally, there's some flexibility around decisions in terms of how it integrates it to Teams. And also, I think by moving to a platform like this, you'd find that people can keep track of the agendas really quickly on their device. So there's all sorts of ways to mix it. I think the point is very flexible, and it's just finding what works for you as a council. And then Steve and Johan and the team can really customize it and make sure you're happy with it. So yeah, plenty of options there, and we're happy to explore them as well. Great. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen as we push through. We've still got a bit of time at the end for Q&A, so we can answer any questions that might come up. Brilliant. So really kind of, how much does this package cost? What's the next steps? And here at Cloudy and Decisions, we've come up with some packs, which is special government pricing. This is different to their commercial and non-profit offering. This is very competitive. We also, which isn't on this, we offer a mini council pack as well for councils for just a part-time clerk and 7 councillors, something like that. So you can see some pricing we've put together that's you can only get through coming to Cloudy or Decisions and speaking to us, and we'll help you implement that. Equally, we offer a 30-day trial where you can just download it from using the QR code or visiting our website, and you can have a play yourselves. We've had a couple of councils do that. We're happy to help and give you a bit of guidance on best practice, and or you can just sort of have a go yourselves. But we're keen that if you do have a go yourselves, you're not overwhelmed by kind of all the different settings. I think like anything, it's a bit of new software and it can be a bit like. But we do believe it's very visual, very intuitive, and once you've kind of got your head around it, then there's some real great opportunities. But we can fast track that for you, which is one of the things we always do here at Cloudy. So if anyone wants to snap the QR code, I'll leave on the screen for a bit longer if you want to get the phone out, but equally just go to our website. I don't know if Mia's putting the link in there as well. Yeah, and you can do that. So brilliant. I think we are at the end now, so that's pretty good because we've got a few minutes left for Q&A. Here at Cloudy, we've got lots of events planned. We run this regular monthly slot called the Decision Hour, and maybe we can drill more in next month, to the planner integration. And look at supporting papers and some other features we haven't shown today because there are so many. We also run the Appy Hour with Steve, where he talks about all our council suite of apps, such as park inspections, allotments, cemeteries, assets, green spaces. Really exciting. And then we've got a couple of events on as well, where you can come and join us to hear about choosing the right cloud for your council, the benefits. We've got Microsoft, we've got people from the ALCC come to talk, and other trainers as well, and stuff. So really exciting. So that's it really. I suppose, yeah, if there's any questions, I know obviously we've been answer as we've been going along, so quite efficient. But if anyone's got any questions, please do ask now.
One thing it might be worth mentioning, David, is that we do a lot of the configuration for the council for them. So we've got some best practice layouts as myself and Johan have worked really closely on. So for those councils wishing to adopt decisions, a lot of the heavy lifting is done by us so that you're up and running really quickly. I think, Julie, you've got your hand up, yes?
Yeah, sorry. I've got the trial version of decisions, and I've done the agenda side of it, and I've got a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to trying out the minutes side of it, because council want to see that it's going to be a benefit in our productivity before they take the leap.
Of course.
I saw this is to do with a different app. I saw on your website you have a youth app. Is that something that Steve, can you just give me a quick 30 seconds on what that does?
Steve, do you want to get at your screen? Oh, yeah, go and talk.
I was going to say, the Youth Services app is designed for managing youth caseworkers effectively. So depending on your council and how you operate, this captures a lot of information and their journeys through the varying parts of the systems that councils have in place. There's some details up on. In fact, there are some details up on our website about it, but it's quite a very quick overview. If you wanted to sort of grab a quick session with me, maybe have 30 minutes, I can run you through the app and show you some of the functionality. And then it might be something that you may want to take from us as part of the package and see how that works.
Yeah, we're a new council, so we're just starting out on everything. So we're just about to start looking at outsourcing youth provision, and it's just is the app going to be something useful for us, or if we outsource it, do we not really need to worry?
Okay, I'll put a link in the chat and you can grab sort of a very quick session with me, and we'll have a little look through that and see how that goes.
Yeah, I'd just say it's quite an unusual on youth services that we offer for parish and town, but we put it together because a council did come to us, because they provided this service and they're worried about obviously confidentiality and the protecting the data, and that's why we put this app together. Nothing gets stored on any device. It's secure. Equally, it allows them not just to do sort of stuff around safeguarding, but also youth services such as clubs and stuff. If you've got a youth club that the council runs. So yeah, it's a nice little app actually. But I'll let Steve do the demo. And Julie, if you do want just a quick before you do council meeting assistance from Steve or Joanne to ensure you get the most out of it, I'm sure if you do grab that time with Steve, he can sort of have a chat about any assistance we could provide. So that's great. Well, I'm glad you downloaded it.
Yeah, thank you. I had a quick look at Steve's bookings page, and unfortunately he hasn't got any availability until after the next council meeting. So,
I'll tell you what,
I'll drop your email into chat, and then I'll send you an email and I'll jiggle some bits about and get you in. I know we've got a massively busy week next week, but I think I could probably find a couple of slots for you, Julie.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
You're welcome.
Right. Wonderful. Well, thanks so much, everyone. We've still got 10 minutes to go, so that's great news that we finished on time. Has anyone else got any questions before we close the session? Great. Okay. Well, I think we've done our job, everyone. So thanks. That's good to hear. But yeah, thanks for joining us and spending time at your busy day. Really appreciate it. If anyone's got any questions outside of the meeting they want to ask, please do get in touch. Always here to help and assist. So yeah, please do. But otherwise, thanks for coming and joining us today, and hopefully look forward to hearing from you soon. All the best. Bye bye.